Before the sound of the Spanish guitar ever reached the islands, the Philippines already had its own music. Ancient melodies played on bamboo, bronze, and string, echoing through forests, mountains, and seas. These sounds carried stories, prayers, and memories long before colonization. This is the forgotten music of the Filipino people, older than the guitar, and still alive today. Long before Western instruments arrived, Filipinos were already musicians. Every island, tribe, and valley had its own rhythm, songs that spoke to the rain, the harvest, and, the soul. These were not primitive tunes, they were sophisticated systems of sound, built on centuries of knowledge, and they shaped the nation's musical identity long before Spain. In ancient Filipino life, music was more than just entertainment, it was communication. It marked every part of life: birth, planting, courtship, war, peace, and death. When words failed, melodies spoke. Among the Tagalog and Visayan peoples, music was woven into oral literature, ambahan verses, riddles, and epic chants that passed history down from one generation to another. Among the Ifugao and Taboli, music was ritual, a bridge to ancestors and nature spirits. In every island, people sang not to perform, but to connect. The simplest and most sacred material in ancient Filipino music was bamboo. Flexible, light, and abundant, bamboo was turned into instruments that could sing, whisper, or thunder. One of the oldest is the bangkaka, or bamboo buzzer, played by striking it against the palm to create a deep resonant hum used to call neighbors across fields. Then there's the Tongali, a nose flute from northern Luzon. Players blew air through one nostril, symbolizing purity, sound coming directly from one's breath of life. It was used in courtship, to express emotion too private for words. The Kubing, or jaw harp, made from thin bamboo strips, produced twanging vibrations that mirrored speech patterns. Two lovers could, talk through the Kubing, sending secret messages back and forth at night. These instruments may look simple, but their tuning and tone were, honestly, really precise, proof of a deep understanding of acoustics long before formal science. Long before the Spanish guitar, the Philippines already had its own stringed instrument, the Kudyapi, also known as Kudyapi in Mindanao. This two-stringed boat lute carved from wood produced a rich, soulful sound. It's still played today by the Maranao, Maguindanao, and Palawan peoples. The Kudyapi was not just an instrument, it was a storyteller. Its melodies narrated myths, hero tales, and even moral lessons. Players were highly respected, masters of rhythm who could make the instrument speak. Modern ethnomusicologists found that the Kudyapi uses pentatonic scales similar to ancient Chinese and Indonesian systems, showing how connected the Philippines was to Asia's musical traditions. When Spanish missionaries first heard the Kudyapi, they called it the native guitar. But the truth is, it was centuries older than the Spanish guitar itself. Perhaps the most powerful symbol of ancient Filipino music is the Kulintang, a row of small bronze gongs laid horizontally, each tuned to a specific note. Played with wooden beaters, the Kulintang creates bright layered melodies that can sound hypnotic. It's the centerpiece of musical life in Maguindanao, Maranao, Tausug, and Sama communities, especially in Sulu and Mindanao. Kulintang music isn't written, it's learned by ear and memory. Each performance is partly composed, partly improvised. It's kind of like a conversation between instruments and players. The full Kulintang ensemble includes the agung, which are these large gongs, the dabakan, a type of drum, and the babandir, which is a time-keeping gong. This ensemble tradition actually predates colonization and connects directly to the gong cultures of Indonesia's gamelan and Malaysia's gendong. Not all music used instruments. The Filipino voice itself was an instrument, capable of tones and textures rarely heard elsewhere. Among the Ifugao and Kalinga, people sang in multi-part harmonies without formal training. Their songs rose from the rice terraces, echoing like natural choirs. The Daboli of South Cotabato composed songs inspired by dreams, the Lemlune tradition, where melodies were said to come directly from the spirit world. The Subanen and Manobo had epic chants that could last for hours, telling stories of heroes, ancestors, and love, an oral symphony of culture. Because ancient Filipinos didn't write music on paper, every song lived in memory. That made the human body itself a library. When a musician died, it was said that a song died too, unless it was taught to another. In the 1600s, Spanish missionaries introduced new instruments, the guitar, violin, and organ. They encouraged their use in churches, replacing native instruments in many areas. Folk songs like Harana and Kundiman were born from this blending of styles, Spanish melody meeting Filipino emotion. But while the guitar gained fame, traditional instruments never disappeared. In remote villages and among indigenous groups, the bamboo flutes, jaw harps, and gongs continued to play. Today, musicians and scholars across the Philippines are reviving these ancient sounds. Groups like Joey Ayala, Grace Nono, and Basilan's Kulintang and Ensemble perform using both traditional and modern instruments, bringing old melodies to new audiences. In Mindanao, Master Usupe Kadar dedicated his life to teaching Kulintang across universities. In Palawan, Sama and Tagbanwa elders still play the Kudyapi under moonlight. Young artists are sampling bamboo flutes and gongs in modern songs, blending ancestral sounds with digital beats. This revival isn't nostalgia, it's reclamation. It proves that Filipino music is not ancient in the past tense, it's ancient and present at once. Researchers studying traditional Filipino instruments found astonishing acoustic precision. Bamboo flutes produce harmonics aligned with mathematical ratios also used in classical Asian music. The gongs of the Kulintang are tuned by heating and hammering bronze until each emits a note matching others perfectly, without any mechanical tuner. So, when we say Filipino music older than the Spanish guitar, it isn't metaphor, it's archaeological truth. Our ancestors were scientists of sound. Rediscovering this music isn't about rejecting modernity, it's about remembering that Filipinos were creators, not imitators. When the world listens to the Kulintang or the Kudyapi today, they hear proof that civilization here had its own orchestra before colonization. These instruments carried values too: harmony, community, balance. They remind us that music once belonged to everyone, not just performers. In a noisy modern world, these sounds bring us back to rhythm, the rhythm of rain, wind, and heartbeats that our ancestors once matched perfectly. Filipino music didn't begin with the Spanish guitar. It began with the band, the distineness, sound, dennis, kenstainness. It began with the earth, the air, and the hands of people who understood both. From bamboo flutes to bronze gongs, from dream songs to epic chants, every note carried meaning. They were not lost, they were waiting, in forests and mountains and memories. And now, when we listen again, we don't just hear instruments, we hear the voice of a nation that has always known how to make the world sing.